Let us be honest. Your current morning routine is alarm, ignore, alarm, ignore, alarm. Fine, I am up, stare at the ceiling like you are waiting for God to text you a reason to get out of bed. And then, phone. Obviously, because apparently the ceiling did not have enough information. So now you are lying horizontal, not yet fully conscious, scrolling through news that makes you anxious, posts that make you feel behind, and opinions from people you have never met about things that have nothing to do with your life. And you have been awake for approximately 90 seconds. Congratulations. You just let the entire internet win the first round of the day before your feet touched the floor. Now you are in the shower, thinking about 17 things that have not happened yet. You are eating breakfast while mentally rehearsing a conversation you need to have that you have been avoiding for 2 weeks. You are driving to work or sitting at your desk already carrying the full emotional weight of a day that technically has not started yet. And you wonder why by 10 in the morning you feel like you have already lived an entire week. It is because you started the day at a deficit. You handed your most powerful minutes to everything except yourself, and now you are running the whole day on empty, trying to catch up to a version of you that never got the chance to show up. Here is what nobody tells you. Those first few minutes of the morning, the ones you are currently spending arguing with an alarm clock and giving your brain to strangers on the internet, those minutes are the most valuable real estate in your entire day. Not because something magical happens in them, because they set the operating system for everything that comes after them. The words you say to yourself in the morning are not just words. They are instructions. They load into your mind before the day starts running on it, and they determine what you notice, how you respond, what you believe is possible, and how much of yourself you actually bring to the moments that matter. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, a man running the most powerful empire on earth, started every single morning with a mental preparation practice before he let the day touch him. Seneca, one of the most influential thinkers in Roman history, wrote entire letters about the importance of owning your morning before anything else owned it. Epictetus, a man who literally owned nothing, understood that what he said to himself first was the only real asset he had. None of them started their day by checking what strangers thought about things they could not control. They started it by talking to themselves, deliberately, with intention, with the full understanding that the mind you bring to the day is the most important thing you bring. So today you are getting 10 words for your morning, 10 affirmations built on 2,000 years of Stoic philosophy, modern psychology, and the hard-won wisdom of people who figured out how to actually live well instead of just performing wellness on the internet. They are going to sound simple. Do not let that fool you. The simplest things are always the ones we most consistently fail to do, and the ones that change everything when we finally start. Put the phone down. Sit with this. Give yourself the one thing you have been giving to everyone else since the moment you woke up, your own attention, for the next few minutes. Finally, if this video is the first thing that has made your morning feel like it belongs to you in a very long time, comment below, I am taking my morning back. Number 1. Today I choose my response, not my circumstances. My response. Quick warning before we start. Something is going to go sideways today. Not dramatically, hopefully, but something. A message that lands in exactly the wrong tone. A plan that makes it to about 11 in the morning before reality completely dismantles it. A colleague who says something so spectacularly unhelpful that you spend the next 30 minutes in your head writing the perfect comeback you will absolutely never say out loud. That is not pessimism. That is just Tuesday. Life does not cooperate with scheduled plans. If it did, nobody would need meditation apps. stress eating would not be a recognized coping strategy, and Monday mornings would not have that specific energy of everyone quietly wondering how it got bad so fast. So, the question is never whether something difficult is going to arrive today. It is. The only question is what happens in the space between when it arrives and when you respond to it. That space is small, embarrassingly small in most people. The gap between trigger and reaction is so compressed that most people do not even know they have one. Someone says something, and they are already irritated before they have processed what was said. Something goes wrong, and the panic is already running before any rational assessment of the situation has taken place. They are on autopilot, and autopilot is a perfectly good setting for driving a familiar route, but a catastrophic one for navigating a human life. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This man was enslaved. He had less control over his external circumstances than almost anyone reading this will ever experience, and from that position of radical powerlessness, he built a philosophy that has outlasted empires. His entire argument was this: they can control everything outside me. They cannot control what I do with it on the inside. That is mine, always. Your response is yours, always. Even when it does not feel like it, even when someone has pushed exactly the right button in exactly the right sequence, and the emotional response feels completely automatic and completely unavoidable, there is still a space, tiny, requires practice to find it. But it is there. And in that space is the difference between a person who is living their day and a person who is being lived by it. Choosing your response does not mean choosing to feel nothing. It means choosing what you do with what you feel. The frustration can be real, and you can still decide not to fire off the message you will regret by 4 in the afternoon. The anxiety can be genuine, and you can still decide not to let it make the next decision for you. The anger can be completely justified, and you can still decide that right now is not the moment to act from it. That is not suppression. That is the most sophisticated form of power available to a human being. The ability to feel something fully and choose your next move anyway, rather than letting the feeling choose it for you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wrote this while managing an empire, while dealing with wars and plagues and political betrayal, and the daily reality of being responsible for millions of people. He still had to remind himself every single morning that his power was not in controlling what happened. It was in controlling what he did about it. If Marcus Aurelius needed that reminder before running Rome, you are allowed to need it before your Tuesday. Say this one first every morning, before you know what the day contains, before the plan has had a chance to be disrupted, before the difficult person has said the difficult thing. Today, I choose my response, not my circumstances. My response. Say it like you mean it. Because on the days when something genuinely tests it, you are going to need to have already decided. You are stronger than anything this day is going to throw at you. You have already proven that. Every single difficult chapter you survived without permanently falling apart. Every moment you held yourself together when falling apart was the easier option. That strength is not luck. It is you. It has always been you. And it begins fresh every morning the moment you choose your response, before the day chooses it for you. Walk into today knowing that. Nothing coming at you today is bigger than the person reading these words right now. Number 2. I am not behind. I am exactly where my journey has brought me. Somewhere between your 20s and right now, you developed a timeline. You did not consciously design it. It assembled itself from 100 different sources. What your parents expected, what your friends seemed to be achieving, what social media presented as the normal pace of a successful adult life. What you told yourself at 22 when you were optimistic about timelines and had not yet met the specific combination of circumstances that were going to rearrange your original plan entirely. And now you carry this quiet, persistent, slightly exhausting sense of being late, of running behind a schedule that everyone else seems to be managing to keep, of being at a point in your story that should have been a chapter ago, the relationship that was supposed to exist by now, the career that was supposed to be further along, the version of yourself that was supposed to have figured more of this out by this age. And meanwhile, you are scrolling through people who are apparently achieving everything on schedule and wondering what exactly you are doing wrong. Here is what you are doing wrong. You are comparing your real life to other people's highlight reels and to an imaginary timeline that was designed before you knew what your actual life was going to ask of you. That is not a fair comparison. That is not even a coherent comparison. You are measuring a real, complicated, genuinely lived human experience against a fantasy that never had to survive contact with reality. The fantasy never lost anyone, never had its plans dismantled by circumstances it could not have predicted, never had to rebuild from something that fell apart, never had to take the long route because the direct one turned out to be closed. Of course, the fantasy looks more on schedule. It was never real enough to get